All right. Good morning once again, and welcome to this session. I'm sorry for the delay to open up, but finally we are here. Although I believe we are going to be having a perfect session. Okay. I'm just giving in a few minutes. Then after we shall be getting started. Prepare your question that you feel you need to ask me, but let it be about Royalq, please. Don't take me to TradingView. I may not be able to tackle those questions here, but I hope you prepare your question so that in the next 4 to 5 minutes, we start. I hope we start now. Drop your question in the chat or raise up your hand and ask your question. And we start. Okay. I'll make some leaders co-hosts. Please go in the chat if you have a question. Drop your question in the chat and then we start. So if you have a question, feel free. Drop your question in the chat and then we start. Thank you. I have leader Saul is here also in the chat to help. Ask anything to do with Royalq. Then I'm gonna give you the answer. We're gonna give you answers to all your questions. We're gonna give you answers to your questions. I see a question is someone saying if someone is saying if one is floating loss, should I add margin call or should I buy manually? Which one is the best? Like I usually say, it depends on your capital. That is the first thing. It depends on your capital. So your capital is key. You only invest in money depending on how you are planning to use your capital. But I usually love this statement that it is important for you, in case you want to do manual replenishment, only if you are sure that this coin is going up. Now, I want to just go a little bit into some, I could call them signs that would predict that this coin has signs of going up, especially if you use our setting strategy of a 30% drop. Just a minute, guys. All right, so what I'm trying to say, only be able to do opening up margin calls when you are sure that this coin you are trying to open up is going up. I personally believe that someone should not do opening up margin calls, especially if you are using our 30% drop strategy. Now, people usually ask me what is a 30%. What I mean is that you set up margin calls, your robot buys all those margin calls of 30%. So if it has already bought all those margin calls of 30%, before you open up more, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if the answer is at home, but I can also discuss in more details. I can also discuss in more details what are those signs you could look at to see that it seems this coin might be now doing well. So basically, we believe that you set your margin call drop to a 30% drop by default minimum. So when your robot buys more than that 30% you have set, then you can open more margin call. Remember, we said that if you are having $500, you'll set up margin call drops of around 60% of your capital, and you remain with the $200. Now, what I'm trying to talk about now is how you will use now the $200. What I'm talking about now is how you will use the $400 if you have a $1,000, and basically now you have exposed 60%, which is $600. How will you now use the $400? But basically, even when you use our strategy of 30%, especially people trading with $500 and above, you will beat safe unless there is a manipulation that happens, like it happened with Acro, whereby a market maker came to the market and withdrew over 800 plus millions. So that is what maybe caused the move to behave the way it behaved. So basically, I believe we could find that best approach. So let's look at a few of those factors. I don't know if I'm loud and clear. Give me one in the chat if you can hear me. So I want to look at those few factors that could show you that this particular asset has factors to seem that it's going to have an uptrend. I've discussed them before, but I believe I need to discuss them again here. So confirm if you can hear me. And then we go through those simple factors. All right. Okay. Now let's look at them and make an informed decision in line. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Now, when you tap on your home icon, let us pick the WorldCoin, the WLD, as our main asset of analysis. Okay. Now, if you are having an iOS phone, it means your display looks a little bit better, but they're all the same. So here on the asset, if you're paying close attention, let me increase my light. And okay, I block the messages. Good. On the asset, one, it gives you analysis in the 15 minutes. It gives you analysis in the 1 hour. It gives you analysis in the 4 hours. It gives you ability to analyze the coin in 1 day, in 1 week, and more time frames. So we want to just be able to look at 15 minutes and look at these different indicators and tools that we could basically be able to use to look through as we make decision. Okay, now I'll start with the MA. So I will remove all the rest and start with the MA. MA is the moving average. So we talk about the moving averages and how they work. Now, the moving averages are basically 3 lines, like you see them here. And these lines have different colors. So we have the orange color, which is the line you can see below here. And it is basically a 7 moving average. Then we have the 25, which is this color here, which is a 25 moving average. Then we have this one, which is a 99 moving average. So we have these 3 moving averages that we basically want to look at. Now, first and foremost, these moving averages, they act as support and resistance. When candles are forming above it, we say it is acting as support. When candles are forming below it, then we say it is acting as resistance. Now, all of us can see that candles are forming above it. And so these two are acting as some answers in the chat. I want to find out if you're following. Now they're acting as what? Some answers in the chat. Dilero. Hey. All right, sorry for that. So an answer in the chat, they're now acting as what? Some answers in the chat. I want to make sure you are following. I'll be a little bit inconsistent because I'm supposed to drop my daughter somewhere. Okay. Now someone is inboxing me that I don't see you. Now why do you need to see me? Okay, let me just switch on my camera a little bit. That's me. Please, I'm gonna now get it off. Someone wanted to see me, that's me. And maybe special announcement since my camera is on. I'm gonna do a crypto, an AI crypto trading bootcamp on the 28th of this month in Kampala at a location that I have already discussed, but let me share it again. If you are in Uganda, you are near Uganda, you would love it to be a full day of knowledge, and you would love to travel to Uganda, it's okay. You'll just need to pay $10. The $10 are for your the $10 are for your lunch and breakfast. So none of that is my money. The hotel is called Grand Global Hotel at Sir Apollo Kagwa Road. You need to pay $10 for you to be able to attend. The $10 are for your breakfast and lunch. None of that is mine. So if you are interested, you will need to get yourself your ticket. I hope so, and be able to attend. Now I'll continue. So if you are in Uganda, it will be a full day full of knowledge. I'll be giving my best, plus other leaders, since I've been preparing this for a very long period of time. So the knowledge is already concentrated there. Let's go back to Royalq. Now, what is about to happen is what we call a golden cross. A small moving average is about to cross a big moving average. And when it crosses, that cross of a small moving average crossing a big moving average, it is called a golden cross. And why is it golden? Because you can make your entry and make profit. So this that is about to happen is what we call a golden cross. So that's how we use the moving averages. You would love to make your entry either at the cross, or you would love to make your entry when candles are forming above, because they have been supported. So you are taking your profit from a resistance area. So now this is confirmation that Worldcoin is gonna do well. You can look at it. You can look at it at 1 hour time frame to get a clear picture, or you can look at it at 4 hour time frame to get a clear picture. Since usually in small time frames, there is usually a lot of noise. I hope you can see the same thing. The first candle has formed above a 7 moving average. So that's what we call that is being supported, or you can look at it at the 4 hour time frame. I hope you can see is this true? Is it reading previous data? Is it my network? I don't know, but I think I've been able to share. So this is one of the indicators you could be able to use, the moving what? The moving averages. Okay. So now let me go to the Bollinger Bands. Let me go to the Bollinger Bands. So what are Bollinger Bands? Bollinger Bands, they are usually indicators that indicate the movement of the market. And basically, this movement of the market, it has 3 lines. It has the upper band, the middle band, and the lower band. But usually, the middle line is a moving average. Moving averages give market direction. Okay, moving averages give market direction. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request for at least 2 minutes, because just 2 minutes, then I'll be able to continue. All right, sorry for that. Okay. All right, so now let me share my screen. We go back to the Bollinger Bands. Okay, now the Bollinger Band, like I have been able to explain, that the Bollinger Band basically it has basically the Bollinger Band has 3 lines. It has the lower band, it has the middle band, and the middle band is basically a 21 moving average, right? And since it is a 21 moving average, like you see the one in Royalq here. I don't know if you guys can see, but when you look up here, there, they give you, it is a 21 moving average. And since it is a 21 moving average, basically, when candles start it will act as resistance, and two, it will act as support. Now, also these upper band, lower band, and middle band, they can also act as support. And at the same time, they can also act as a resistance. So when candles form above, the band, okay? When candles form above that middle band, when they come and form above that band, like the lower band, like you see in the 4-hour time frame, a green candle is forming above the band. A green candle is forming above the band. Since the green candle is forming above the band, it means the lower band is acting as support and the middle band is acting as resistance. So we partially expect the market to move from the lower band to the middle band. So if this candle closes above, the lower band, then we expect that the market is going to move to the middle band. So that is also an indication, if we're using the Bollinger Band, to indicate that the market is going to be moving up, right? Then the Bollinger Band uses what we call a squeeze and bubble, okay? You usually see that like here, there was a squeeze. So after the squeeze, then we expect a bubble. The bubble could be a downward trend, or the bubble could be an upward trend. But when candles move below the lower band and close above that lower band, then we say that the lower band has acted as a support. So we expect the market to move to this area. So also, Bollinger Bands can be used to determine whether this coin is going to be able to move up, or this coin is not going to be able to move up, or it's going to move up, or it's going to move down. But you cannot use one indicator to determine the market. That's why we have several. So on the Bollinger Bands, I could maybe decide to add on, you can't add on the moving average, because the moving average will always give the same results, all right? The moving averages will always give the same results like the Bollinger Bands, because they also have, the Bollinger Bands have a 21 moving average, all right? So the moving averages will give the same results. You see, even when you put on the moving average, the Bollinger Bands will move away. Why? Because they will give the same results. Now, you can have the Bollinger Bands on. The other indicator that we have in Royalq is what we call the volume. Now, the volume in Royalq is given in figures. I don't know if that is making sense. It shows you on your bottom left. I don't know if someone could see that. It shows you on your bottom left how much on the bottom left and on the bottom right. Okay. It shows you how much has been injected in the what? In the market. And when you see long bars, you see these are long bars of red, then it means the sellers are more in the market. When you see long bars of green, then you know the buyers are more in the what? In the market. But although using Royalq, it doesn't come out very clearly. Maybe when we are going to look at it using Binance brings out at least more clearer than Royalq. So I will move away from that indicator, and now I tap on the MACD. Now, what is the MACD? The MACD is what we call the moving average convergence divergence indicator. Moving average convergence divergence indicator. Now, this moving average convergence divergence indicator is a very good indicator to show you the direction of the market. Let me press it in the 15 minutes time frame so that it could give us a more precipitant direction. Ladies and gentlemen on the phone, you can be able to also see, even me without saying a word, that the MACD or the moving average convergence divergence indicator is more clear in this picture. Why, Julius? Because all of us can see it is trying to show us. It has the green histograms, those are the green lines you see, and it has the red histograms, those are the red small lines you see. Now, it has two lines that are moving across. One is what we call the signal line, and another one is what we call the strength line. When you're using TradingView will call it the MACD and the signal line. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when the orange line is moving above the purple line, it could be purple or red, it's up to you how you identify colors. But when the red line is moving, or the orange line, sorry, is moving above, when the orange line is moving above, that's most important. When the orange line is moving above the red or the purple line, the market is on an uptrend. When the orange line is moving below the purple or the red line according to you, then the market's moving on a downward trend. Now, what you see as the uptrend right now, after the bubble, you see there was a squeeze. We are using now Bollinger Bands and the MACD. You see, after there was this squeeze, then the bubble, you see, ladies and gentlemen, that at the same time we have a crossover at that area. And the orange line has crossed the purple line. And since the orange line has crossed the purple line, we now see an uptrend. So you wanna do a manual buy when you are sure that this coin is moving up. You wanna open up, especially if the coin has overdipped like Acro. You wanna open up margin calls when you are sure that now this coin is going up, so that now it will be able to buy and be able to sell, so that you do not waste your capital, especially you people who are using our settings of 30% drop. Once the robot has bought all your 30% drop, once the robot has bought all your 30% drop, please, either you can do a manual buy or open up margin calls when you are sure that this specific coin is moving up in that respective manner. Give me a one in the chat if so far where we are is making sense to you. Give me a one in the chat if so far where we are is making sense to you. Give me a one in the chat. Give me a one in the chat if what I'm talking about right now is making sense to you. Okay, give me one in the chat if what I'm talking about is making sense to you. Right. Okay. Any questions so far where we are? Any questions so far where we are? Any question before I add up, I finish up these indicators? Any question? Any question so far where we are? Any question? Any question? Any question? Let me know. Any question so far where we are? Any question? There are no settings of these Bollinger Bands because they're existing in your Royalq. They are automatic. You don't need to set anything. You just need to tap on them. I see a hand by Sylvester. Yes, Sylvester, please. Did you ask your question? Ijo. Sylvester, please, can you unmute and ask your question?
All right. Okay, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
You talk of people using 30% drop. At once, the robot has bought all the margin score, and then you can sell it manually. Can do manual replenishment. What if the coins continue going to the dip? Will it not affect you?
Ugambote. Nganze ndi
Yes.
kale kale. All right, sorry for that. I'll just somewhere. Okay, your question was that you do open margin calls or do manual buy when your margin calls are done, right? Is that your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what have I been talking about? I don't know if you understood what I was discussing. I said, and I want to repeat, only do that if you have seen the factors I've just discussed. When you are sure that this specific coin is going up. So we have been looking at indicators that can show you that this coin is going up. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So now, I'm not getting. Have you understood indicators that could show you that this particular coin is moving up?
Yes, yes, sir.
Have you understood how they work? Now that's
Yes,
when
sir.
that's now when you can be able to buy manually. Because you are sure that this coin is gonna move up. I don't know if now it makes sense to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you basically what I would say is that you basically do not buy if those indicators are not showing you, because now maybe you are using our $500 settings, all right?
Yes, yes, sir.
So our $500 settings are giving you a priority to buy up to 30% dip. All right.
Yes,
When
sir.
you are trading has bought everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So the coin has bought all the 30% dip. Now since it has bought all the 30% dip, then it means that if you do manual buy now, when you are sure that this coin is going up, your coin will sell and you don't have spoiled your money. I don't know if that is making
Understood, sir. Understood.
now to you. Okay, I don't know if now you understand, especially people who are using the 30% drop.
Yes, sir.
And it has bought all the 30%. That is when now you come up and say, let me do a manual buy, robot to buy more because I'm that aspect. I don't know if now it is.
Yes, sir.
It is clear.
Yes, sir.
Any other question, sir? Okay. All right.
All right, sir. Thanks.
All right. So let me go to IC Dixon. I want to continue with the remaining.
Okay, sir. Should I mute myself?
I want to continue with the remainers. Okay, you can. So. Yes, Dixon.
Yes, you're hearing me loud and clear. Thank you very much for sharing. My question is, like for us who are in Acro, Acro yesterday showed some signs of just going up. Then basically I had some some little balance remaining, so I had to add one margin call because I had 7 margin calls. So I added the 8th one. So it showed me a buy and a sell, a buy and a sell 2-3 times. But when I was checking the message, like how it was buying and selling, like it was buying, it bought at 8, it sold at 14, it bought at 15, it bought at 20, it sold at 23, it bought at 24, and sold at 30 in that sequence. So like when I check on the amount of asset bought or the number of accro bought, like I see from the previous quantity, like it is reducing whenever it buys and sells, the initial quantity reduces. I don't know if you are getting me clearly. So
so you want it when it sells, your quantity doesn't decrease.
Like I didn't get it clearly how, like, whether it was selling just one last margin call the 8th, or it was like I didn't get clearly the picture, like how could it be buying low and then the quantity is reducing finally. That's what I wanted to have a clarity on.
Now the main question is, it is buying and it is selling, right?
Yes.
Now, if you are selling mangoes, you had 100 mangoes.
Yes.
Then you buy more 10. Now it means by total you have 110.
Yeah.
So the market rises and you sell off the 10. Do you still remain with the 110?
No, you remain with 100.
Exactly.
Okay. I understand it. Thank you very much, Leader Julius. I understand.
Okay, now you are clear, Dixon, right?
Yes, I'm clear. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So can I continue, guys, with the indicators? So that is what we call a sub-cell. No, you don't need to identify a sub-cell, but maybe if it's your interest, it is that everything the robot buys from the 5th call and below. When I talk about the 5th call, I'm talking about the 6th, the 7th, up to 999 calls. The robot will sell it independently. So it can buy 6 and sell 6 alone. It can buy 7 and sell 7 alone. It can buy 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then it sells 14 that it has just bought. All right? I hope that is clear.
Yes.
Okay, so I will. Dixon, you are fine now? So
Yes, I'm fine.
Go back now. Okay. All right, so I'll mute you and then let me go back to Royalq. Now we have done the Bollinger Bands. So I want to do the RSI. Now, when should you see? Now you must be able to combine a couple of indicators to get a good indication. In Royalq, it is given by volume. So I'll just do 2 and 3. In the middle here, it is what we call the middle. It is usually 50%. So it means that the market moved, let me say from below here, let me say this is a 20. So it moved from 20, it came to 50. Then from 50, it came, this is 80. It means when you are buying this coin, when you find that the RSI is at 82, it means that this coin has been over what? It has been overbought. The coin has been overbought. the buyers have been very powerful in the market. So the buyers have taken over in the 15 time frame. So when you enter this coin, when it has been overbought, understand that it is now time that the sellers are going to come in and the market will start now moving down. Why? Because since people are now looking to sell, the market is going to start moving out. So if you find that the stochastic RSI is reading 80 or 90, please, you might get into the market maybe with experience, but understand that very, very soon, the sellers are going to start dominating the market. I don't know if also that is very clear. We can still look at it in the 1 hour time frame. We can still look at it in the 1 hour time frame. Now, in the 1 hour, you see, it is just 50%. So this is still safe. Let's go in the 4 hour time frame. In the 4 hour time frame, you see it is just starting at 34%. Now, what does this indicate? This indicates that if you consider the 4 hour time frame for your purchasing power, understand that in the 1 day time frame, the market will start moving in the 15 minutes time frame, the market will start moving out. That's why margin calls are important. That the robot will be doing those small buys, small buys. But in the 1 day, in the 4 hour time frame, the sale will a little bit delay, but it will give you more profit. I don't know if what I have shared so far is clear. Let me know in the chat if it is clear now. Let me know in the chat if it is clear. Hello, leader. When I entered the market, when the coin was pumping, then it starts to drop. Will I stay more in the market than other people? Yes. Because now for you, you will immediately enter floating loss. And when you enter floating loss, you will wait. You will wait for the market to return. Okay, you will wait for the market to be able to return. Okay, what is a sub sale? Thank you. I hope you have been answered. Yes, because your average price is high. Exactly. Okay. I need to answer someone. Let me just tell the person. Then I appear again. Just a minute. Okay. Please repeat the comparison between the 4 hour time frame and the 15 minutes time frame regarding the RSI. No, I'm not comparing anything. What I'm teaching here is general knowledge. You could basically also just go to your RSI and look at it in your own Royalq and see how it is behaving. But basically, just maybe to help you, you can see it is 35. But in the 15 minutes, it is 81. It means here, because this is a short time, here we are measuring the market, each candle every 15 minutes. But here we are measuring each candle every 4 hours. That's the difference. So although here the buyers have overbought, but the effect of 15 minutes is just very small. It is starting the 4 hours. So if you want to make a perfect decision with the trading, I usually advise people to use 4 hours or 1 hour time frame. This is usually for scalpers. Scalpers. These are people who want to enter the market and get out in the shortest time possible. All right. They usually trade 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. People who trade Forex, they go in for 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute time frame. They want to scalp some profit from the market. I don't know if, so here it is just ending, but here it is just starting. So I usually love me 4 hour time frame, or I usually love 1 day. That's why, or 1 hour. That's why you need to trade with margin calls. My question is, if the number of margin calls and the robot goes down and buys them, when it goes up and sells, what happens again when it goes down for another time? Because it did not reach the trigger price. When the market is going down and it buys the first 4 margin calls, and that's why I issue our settings are 4 margin calls and above for those who are $500 and above. So it will start selling those sub sales. You will wait. The market will not let you lose anything. When it rises, it will sell. When my average price is close of the current price, does it mean the coin will sell immediately? Or it has to wait for the take profit sales? It will wait for the take price you set. Hello, leader, I'm confusing. Why are you choosing 15 minutes, 1 hour, and 4 hours? So if you trade in 15 minutes and after you change your time frame, when the coin is in the market, does it change anything? No, it doesn't. That's just analysis. Here I'm just looking at how coins are performing at different times of analysis. What do you say about setting a high drop percentage and the market doesn't go down there, yet you would maximize the first 4 margin calls with the less drop, hence giving you profit? I have discussed it more than 100 times that it is important for you to set more margin calls with the first 4 margin calls, with the less drop. Hope I've answered you. You set the first 4 margin calls with the less drop, you expand your drop rate in the different margin calls of 5 and above. I hope I've answered you. Please drop your questions. I think these ones I've answered. My 1 hour is done. Let me see if I've left any. Drop your question. Maybe I cannot see all the previous questions, but I think I have answered most of them. Any question not answered, please feel free to put up your hand. If your question has not been answered, put up your hand. And I see if I can answer. Yes, Crispus.
Oh, thanks, Leader Julius. Just 2 things to clarify on. Just put more information on this. If the robot sells, let me say like this: can a robot sell a margin call so many times? Like it bought 80 times and now the market is bouncing around the 80 times. Can it sell so many times? Oh, once it sells this one, the next buy it will be margin call number 9.
It can buy 8 and 10 a million times and sell 8 alone a million times.
Yeah, because that thing is disturbing so many people because it is buying and selling, but is not realizing his margin calls increasing. So you can clarify.
But what is the problem? But that has no problem. You are making money. Now, the challenge is the person buying a robot and wanting to be the robot themselves. You buy the robot, then you give the instruction the robot to monitor the market for you. Now, the robot has bought for you the 8th call. It has sold the 8th call. It has bought it again. It has sold it again. It has bought it again. it has sold it again. Now, what do you lose?
You know, some people, he will be like, what is it doing? More margin calls are not being added, but I see the robot is, I'm just asking to clarify someone. I think he's on call. He wanted to hear this being clarified.
Then the person wants to become the robot himself. Then why did he buy the robot?
Another question is, if you bought manually, you have margin calls, but you observed the coin, it was going to pump up, then you bought manually. How is it reflected? Is it another margin call or you want to be reflected?
No, it affects the first 4 margin calls. It pulls the average price of the first 4 margin calls. It's not a margin call. A margin call becomes a margin call when it's bought by the robot itself. If you want manually buy, it affects your general average price. It pulls your general average price just closer to the current price, increases the amount invested, and increases the number of coins bought.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Leader Anix?
Yes, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and everyone. Protocol observed. Now I have a small question here. If an asset drops down by 50%, and of course you try to replenish, and then reduce the average price, bring it to the current price. The current price, the average price reduces, you can neutralize it, but of course the floating loss remains intact, and of course even it increases at some point. What could be your take on that?
No, it increases if you buy a coin when this coin is still going up. You know, it is a wastage of money for you to do manual replenishment when the coin is still going down. It has no effect because when you buy and the market continues going down, the amount of floating loss increases because the coin is still dipping. So it's like, let me give an example. You are at the war. Maybe I am not any side of Palestine or Israel, but because you want to show off that you're a very good soldier, you get your missiles, throw them in the air with no target. That's what you are doing. So it means it is a waste of resources. Okay, so that's what increases the floating loss. You buy when the coin is still continuing going down. So it means it magnifies the floating loss. You are doing nothing. You should only do manual replenishment when you are sure that this coin is moving up. That's when you affect the floating loss. But you cannot affect the floating loss when the coin is still going down. That is not what we call buying cheap. You buy cheap, then it forms a new support. So it means what you bought is a wasted resource. I don't know if I've answered you.
Sure, my leader. Thank you so much.
All right. I hope I come to the end of the call because I finished in the chat. Now I was listening to those that have hands up. Anybody else with hands up? If no more hands up, I think I can come to the end of the call. If no more hands up, I think I can come to the end of the call. I started with the chat. I finished the chat. Now I'm here. Yes, Juliet, could you unmute?
Yes, madam. Thank you for sharing. My question is, if I analyze the market in a 4-hour frame and it is telling me it is above 50 line, and I go ahead analyze the market in 1-hour time frame, and it is telling me it is just starting. Do I have to enter that market in a 1-hour frame or a 4-hour frame with margin cost both?
Yes, when when the market is on an uptrend in 1 hour and it is on an uptrend in the 4 time frame, all right?
Yes.
It confirms that this coin is gonna do well, so you can enter. But I would advise anyone who is entering the market at the moment to take a take profit of as low as 1.5 or 2.5. Sorry, 1.5 or 2%. Okay. If you want to make more profit, you use the whole position take profit callback of maybe, let me say 0.3. Right? So now your take profit is small, but the callback is big. Let me share my screen and you tell me if I'm answering your question well. Look here. Look here, your take profit is 1.5, all right? But
yes,
your whole position take profit callback, let me say it is 0.3. Now, you can set 1.5 and get 5%. What happens? When this coin, now I'm gonna clear. When this coin rises by 1.5 and it goes down by 0.2, the robot will not sell, all right? It means that
yes,
because it has not reached your callback of 0.3. If this coin rallies again, let me say to 5%, then you will get a 5% take profit. Let me evidence it with evidence. Let me give it with evidence. I have a coin on floating loss that I want to share. Okay, do you see this back?
yes.
Okay, let me just take you to, these are sub cells. But let me take you to this was a manual cell. I need, okay, look here. Do you see this cell?
Yes.
It is a 10% take profit. You see, this is a 10%. Okay. But me, I can never set a take profit of 10%. Right? Now, what happened is that when it comes to the setup of the take profit, you see the take profit is 1.5. The coin was pumping. All right. And if the coin was pumping, how did I get a 10%? All right. Than me getting a 1.5. The 10% came in because when the market went high by 1.5 and it tried to come down, it did not reach the 0.2. It rallied again. And when it tried to fall down by 0.2, my robot sold. So instead of me getting a 1.5, I got a 10 per.
All right.
Have I answered you? Have I answered you now?
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Royalq. I don't know if this one is the CEO of the company. Here, when I have the CEO. Is this the CEO? Are you the founder of Royalq?
My leader, Julius, good morning, sir. You
Good
escaped
morning.
from Nigeria. I asked
Hey,
you questions.
okay.
Yes, I asked you questions there. I never even knew I put a Royalq there as my name. My name is Kate anyway. The question is that I placed a call, a trade on a Tuesday. That trade, as at Tuesday evening, sold off. I mean, bought all my margin calls. Yeah, I have was bought off. So to my greatest surprise, I was waiting to see the thing sell off. I came this one night, it went back to 4 margin call again. I don't know why. That.
Okay, first repeat the question. The robot had bought how many margin calls?
5 margin call. It bought all.
5.
Yes.
So you found when it had sold 5, but you came back in the morning today when it has not yet sold the 4, right?
Yes. It
so
has
you
not
are
sold.
wondering.
It bought all 5 margin call waiting to be sold. To my greatest surprise, this morning the thing now went back to 4 margin call again. I don't know why.
Now, first and foremost, make sure your coin is on a one shot.
It's on one shot, I'm sure.
2, understand that the fifth call is independent.
I know.
It can be sold alone. Now, which means that check your take profit and your take profit callback. For example, let me give you an example. so that maybe this gets practical to you. Are you here, Madam Evelyn? Madam Evelyn, can you hear me?
I'm with you, I'm Kate.
Okay, now look here. My take profit is 1.5, all right? Can you see this coin?
Yes.
My take profit trigger price is 0.1468, all right?
Yeah.
Now let me change this. I've changed my take profit to 3%, right?
Yes.
Now I think it's just my network, but this will change. This has to change because I've also changed my take profit price. Now, the robot will always give a trigger price. What is a trigger price? A trigger price is a price where the robot wants to take profit. But when the market touches this profit, the robot will not sell, but it will wait for this drop so as to sell. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I
The robot
understood.
will be triggered to get ready, and you see down here it says status waiting for what? For the trigger price. Now, immediately the trigger price is triggered, then it will give you another notification down here saying waiting for the callback. I don't know if it's making sense. Now, when you set a higher trigger price and the market doesn't reach the trigger price or it doesn't touch the callback, the robot will not sell. I don't know if now it makes sense.
Why did it go back? Because my margin call yesterday was 0, showing that it has sold off. The buy-in callback was 0 too, showing that it has bought all the margin calls. To my greatest surprise, it now went back.
It did not reach your take profit. It did not reach your take profit. It did not reach your take profit.
My take profit wasn't all that much.
It is up to it was not so much, but this is a robot. It only follows the instructions given.
Okay.
It is not human.
Even though
it is not human.
Even though not clear, the second question I asked, there was a trade call you placed on the group. For a coin. It's there in my question there in the chat. So that one, you say the two call drop, you gave values for two call drop. And those values, I'm not asking, does it mean that it's only two margin calls that trade is supposed to have? Where you only have margin calls?
Yes, now this gets back to you. You can either set only those two margin calls, or because that type of signal is specific, that the give of the signal wants you to set, let me say, only two margin calls or only three margin calls. All right.
Okay.
So you can either follow that, but you see me, I have already come up with my strategy of 30 margin calls. Okay.
Okay.
And my strategy is so unique that from the time the robot buys the first call up to the 15th call, it is a 5% drop. All right. Now, usually people ask me, why do you do that? I do it for one reason. I want my robot to be buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling before it gives me my profit. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. So to me, even if anyone sends a signal, I have developed my own strategy. Right? So I stick to my strategy. I don't know if it makes sense to you, because usually all drops will fall within my criteria of the strategy. I don't know if I've answered you.
Not really that you are going to do that two margin call, because it's scary. Enter floating is a big problem. Yes, I'm scared of floating loss, so I'm very, very scared. I don't have money to be tied down.
Okay, so you can be able to handle with your settings that you have created. You can just handle with your settings you have created.
Okay, thank you very much, my leader.
All right, thank you too. Yes, my leader, Tessie.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, leader Julius, for example, my question is like this. My coin is on floating, but then you post a signal that you can, that that can what you call it? You post a signal with the same coin that I am on floating loss. So how will I enter that? How will I enter that coin to trade?
Okay.
Even though I have a lot
Okay.
of yeah.
Beautiful. Just look here. So let's take an example of Beck, right? Of Acro. Because I know you are floating on Acro so much.
It's not only Afro, too many.
Okay.
All right. I'm watching.
Let's take these two floats. And what happens is that what will I do? First, I'll just look at how many margin calls have been bought. Okay, there are 37. I'll just come here on the trade settings and ask myself, how much capital do I want to invest? Maybe I want to invest $500. All right. Now, I will increase my margin calls from 37. Maybe I say I want to open up 10 more. So I'll just turn this to 47. How much capital do I have? I have $500. So I'll say 500 divide by my 10 margin calls. It will be $50. Did I test you? Are we together?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So I will change my first buying amount to 50. Then I'll just come to the margin configuration. And I ask myself, so here it will be 1-1. I want my robot to buy with $50. Or I can edit it accordingly. I use maybe I want it to buy only 4. So I'll just come here and I use 2, 4, 8, 16. Only 4 margin calls. If the drop is 5%, I'll just come here and I say 0.2, 0.5, that is 0.7. Then I divide the remaining balance. So let me just go to my calculator very fast here. So 0.7 minus 5, it is 4.3. Divide by 2, 2.15. So here I'll put a 2.15 and a 2.15. I'll be making money on these calls. So I'm trading via floating loss. Is it okay, Dida Tessie?
Yeah, it's okay, leader. How about if you say you put, for example, you put some what you call it, preset price? Is it applicable in this situation?
When we put a preset price,
Yeah.
this robot is very smart. It will not buy the next call unless it touches the preset price.
Yeah.
It will buy that call by that preset price you have put. It will buy that next call to that preset price you are putting.
Even in the floating loss, you can do that.
Yes, it will buy in the floating loss.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. I understand.
All right. Okay, guys. Acro has put me in floating loss of 50 USDT. It bought, yeah, Acro misbehaved because there was I don't know, how can I say? A market mover withdrew most of his money from Acro. and the market was affected. Is it possible to manually set 25? Yes, you can sell 25% of your coin. If your coin is in this strategy mode, you can't sell 25% if your coin is not in this strategy mode. It must be in the whole warehouse mode. But now you see me, it has bought more than 4 times. You can only sell off 25% or 50% if the coin is in the whole warehouse mode. When you tap on the sell icon, it will allow you to sell off 25% or 50% of that. I think I need to end. I'm past time. The last question. Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, outline. Yeah. Now they've introduced features, features in Royalq, and yeah, and now I also learned the features you can lose all your money. So can you explain that to me?
I haven't talked about
that you
features.
can lose your money.
I haven't done any Zoom about features. I said I will do. But I haven't done any call. Have you seen me do any call teaching feature trading?
Not really.
Okay.
But they brought it in the system, so I wanted to.
You can try. Me, I haven't talked about it, but you can try. If you have learned about it and you know how it works, please, you can go and try. But me, I haven't talked about it. But if you know how it works and you know how to use it, please, you can try. I have no limitations on what you can do with what Royalq has provided.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you know how it works, please go ahead and use it. I have no problem with anyone. But I said I will, but I've not yet. You know, me, I'm a little bit different. I want to tackle something when I have a winning strategy. I don't want to just move into something. I know how it works, but I usually want to approach something with a strategy. I don't want to approach something because I know how it works. But for if you know how it works, please go ahead and use it. I cannot prevent anyone. But me, I'm still developing a strategy. What could be the best strategy some people could use? Because when it comes to features of Royalq, you must have that specific coin in your exchanger. If you are trying to do features of Doge, you must have Doge tokens into your account. So I'm still looking through what I will do. But I usually have one simple question. Are you doing well with spot? Because if someone is crying floating loss with spot, because with features, if things will go against you, although the leverage is small, the loss will be real. The exchanger takes the money. The exchanger doesn't say you are new. No. Once you predict market movement and the market goes against you, the exchanger will take the money. Because that's where they make profit from. So you are predicting against the exchanger. And once you don't predict well, you lose your prediction. It's like when you go to a betting company and you say, like recently, that Man City will win Arsenal and Arsenal wins. You don't go back and say, please, betting company, bring back my money. Whatever you brought, you lose. I don't know if it makes sense to you.
Sure.
So I love attacking anything with strategy. So, but for you, if you know what to do, you go in for it. But features could be a little bit better than sport if someone knows what to do, because it could allow you accumulate your money very fast, all right? But also the loss is real if at all it happens. So that's what I would say for now.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, guys, have a nice day. Someone is saying share your 30% strategy. My 30% storage, I don't know which capital it uses because I keep on creating strategies time over time. Let me see. There you go. Someone was asking for this strategy. There you go. It is 30 margin calls. It is simple. The first 4 margin calls take off $100. The first 4 margin calls take off $100. I tried this strategy. I think I started this strategy with $500. And let me just show you first results. I was just caught up. I was watching, I think, the match of Arsenal and Man City, and I did something wrong. And it produced $200 in 10 days. More than $200 in 10 days. It is using $488, close to $500. Yeah, it produced $272 in 10 days, $500. I used the $500 and I made a profit of $272 in 10 days using this strategy. I just misbehaved myself. I went into a match of Arsenal versus Man City. And during that time, I opened my trade mistakenly at the high, but the coin was good. So 30 margin calls, the first buying amount is 10. The first buying amount is 10. This take profit is not buying. My take profit is 1.5. I was just teaching. Then the margin configuration, 0.3, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5. Basically, from the first call to the fourth call, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the rest is 1.1, 1.2, 1.1, up to 1. It's supposed to be up to 1.9. This was also teaching someone. This is supposed to be either 0.2 or 0.5. It's fine. So that is it. This is my strategy. $488. 30 margin calls. So I started with I withdrew some. All my money are in this coin. I started this trade with $500. And I started with $500 and I made $272. That is a 2, a 7, a 7. I must have a capital of 772. Someone may be asking, why do I have 764? If you get 772 minus 764, someone might be arguing this. That is 12. 12 minus 4. I think it is an 8 something or a 7. I withdrew this money. I have evidence. I withdrew this profit. I took it. I usually don't take small profits, but if someone asks me, I have the answer. I withdrew that profit somewhere. And now, what has this Binance has done? The thing looks awkward. Though. Binance keeps on changing these things. Okay, the orders are down here. Completed P2P. I don't take small profits, but I remember that day I took small profits. They are here. I took off my 7.4. I withdrew. They are here. So I started with $500 using that strategy, and I made $272. And I took off my simple profit. The rest of the money is in the coin. So the strategy, I believe it's good. for 10 days. My $500 produced $272 in profit. Is it advisable to buy less than $10 in margin calls? No. You'll be getting trash. You'll not even be getting profit. If it all buys, the profit will be very little. Yes, even if a downline trades futures, for you, they will be charged the fuel fee. You can compound anything as long as you know what compounding is. Ladies and gentlemen, too much of anything is always bad. Allow me come to the end of this call. God bless you and have a perfect, fantastic day. What was the drop target of those? I don't remember in my head. But if you have looked at them, go and add them. The last two margin calls are 5.5. The next 5 are 2.2. The rest are 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, 0.2. I usually set my margin calls not less than 30%. But I don't know in my head, off head. Yeah, I don't know off head because sometimes a lot of things are asked to me and my brain buzzes. It should be sub-bin mode real-time settlement. That is the strategy mode. Sub-bin mode real-time settlement. That's a strategy mode. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come to the end of the call. God bless you. Thank you so much. I love you all and bye-bye.